Hello everyone, in this video we are going to build this very simple Django app, and it's a weather app. You can see the interface is simple, everything is very simple. So you can just click here to search for a city. If I search for London, and then it gives me the real-time weather information from London. I can search for any city in the world, any city in the world. Freetown is here, that is gives it to me, so yes, you can search for any city. The app is also responsive. You can see that it just adjusted. Yeah. So this is what we are going to build. If you're excited about it, just jump into the next session where we start building this from scratch. I'm inside the directory where I'll create my Django project. So I'll just right click, open in terminal. You can also use the command prompt at that place. If you are on a different operating system other than Windows, I am on Windows, there should be a way to open the terminal in that particular directory. So I have a virtual environment already created in this place, so I'll just activate it. Okay, and if you're on Windows, you may not have to type this long thing. I already have a Django for one hour crash course for beginners. I showed how to activate the virtual environment, at least on different operating systems. You can check that video out and watch just that small portion. Let's just go Django-admin start project. And then the project name will be Django weather app. Django underscore weather underscore app. Okay, I think we got it right. So now we can CD into let's see that it's actually part of the things over there, like this one here. And now we can CD into it. And then the first thing is to open Visual Studio Code in that directory, not code, but Visual Studio, not code, but code dot open it in this directory. Okay. Let us create one app. So Python manage.py create app, start app, yeah, start app, and let's call it base. Okay, we'll come back and run our server very soon, but now let's register this base inside settings.py, bring the test app small. Okay, installed apps here, and then we can just say base.apps.base config. Okay. And then inside URLs here, let's just import include, because we want to include URLs from the app over there. And then in here, we can say that all the path that leads to nothing. So if it is codebase.com, all the path that leads to codebase.com/nothing, you just want to go and fetch all the URLs inside the base app. So base.urls. But you can also see that inside the base, there is no urls.py file, so you have to create it. ls.py. And then in here, you can see from Django .urls, you want to import path, not re path. Okay. And then here we declare our URL patterns. And then here the path, only be one path that goes to the home page, because that's the only page we have. And then views dot, we call it home. And then the name of the URL will also be home. You can see that it's saying that, giving us a warning that doesn't even know what views is. So let's just say from dot import views. Okay, you can save this one also, and then go and create this view inside views.py file. So inside here, I can just say define home, because that is the name we give it there, passing request as always. And then for now, we say return render and passing request. The name of the template is index.html. Okay. We'll come back to this one because it obviously is not part of our files here. And so inside the base, let's create two folders. One called template and another one called static to hold our template and static files respectively. Okay, you can see that I've added three things here: the style.css, index.html, and the images directory. These ones, a member from this channel suggested that I show how I build my front end also. So I have uploaded a video earlier on how I built this with Tailwind CSS. If I preview this, not prettier, if I go live, okay, I showed how I built this UI, the front end with Tailwind CSS, and the link to that video will be in the description. So that if you want to learn how to build this, not just to copy my templates and use them, you can actually build it yourself also. And then if you also are familiar already with the front end and you don't want to build it, but you want to just follow along with this video, then there will be a link also to the starter file in the description. You can also build it out, copy them and then paste it and let's go. But I really encourage you to build it out yourself also, so that if you don't want any customization, you know where to do it, and then you can also sharpen your front end skills. Okay, let me stop that server. We don't want a lot of servers running on our PC. And here, we have to do some configuration. Okay, and this one, let's even move it to the template. It has been moved, and then the images inside the static folder, yes. And then we also need the style.css inside the static folder. Okay. And then here, let's load static. I think I've not typed it right. There should be some percentage signs here and here. Okay. Beside this place, let me just close out. And then this one too. This one we will not change it. This background URL will not change it. But it should be, this part is relative to the HTML file. So look at where the HTML file is. And then inside images, this PG image, let me bring it here. It's an image I got from, I'll put the credit to the image in the description, also the link to get exactly the same image, or if you have another image. If you also follow up in the front end build, I think you have access to how to get this image. And we have, because it's relative to the HTML file, now we have to change it /, because it's in the same directory now. So /bg image. Okay, but this we have to change. Maybe we can speed up by copying from this and then paste it here. We really don't need the /. I don't think it's necessary. And there's another one very similar to this one down here, just a little bit here. And this is 113. How to get these two images are also all linked in the description below, or you can check if you are also building it from the UI. You built the UI with me before, you can also get access to that one also. This one is also 113, 113, 113. Okay. Now I think we have done everything correctly, so let's go Python manage.py run server. Saying that it has found no errors. Okay, but I think the background is not showing. Let's view page source and see something. Oh no, I don't think so. This BG image is in relation to the HTML file, but it's the CSS that is actually doing the background or the styling. So I apologize. I think it should be inside the static rather. Yes. Okay. But according to the CSS configuration, if you come down here, I think we should find it somewhere here. Quick find to bg underscore image. You see that the CSS is locating inside an images directory, so it has to be where it is. I'm very sorry for all the inconveniences. So it should be images slash, yes, this one should do. Yes, and now everything is back. That beautiful app. Okay, so quick things first. I don't think in the UI build we factored this to give it a name. No, not this one. The inputs, Django gets it by name. So name should be city. Okay. And then, yep, that should be, it should be also required also, so that it cannot be required. A name should be provided. I think that will be all that will do with our HTML file. And the data we'll be using will come from OpenWeather. So you just the link will be in the description. So OpenWeather map. This is where we get the API. We use their API. If you don't have an account, be sure to register. I think they will send you an email that you have to verify. So after registration and verification, just let's come to /current. And then this one gives us the idea of the current weather data that we can hit. Now, this is the API call that we can do. So we can just use the request library, then that's what we'll be doing. Not for now. Okay, so I just want to give you an overview of this thing. So this is the API call. And then we can also see the response that comes in the JSON format. It gives us the coordinates in latitude and longitude, the weather information. So we'll be interested in this weather, its description. If you look at our UI, you see that way. The temperature, the pressure, I didn't include it, but you can include it if you want to. The humidity, the temperature. I think the other thing of interest should be the country and then the name of the place. Okay. And I showed you also, okay, this is not the one that we use. Let's come to weather. Okay, you saw that it got to the API. So, but let's come first to weather conditions, and here it gives us just the simplified version of it that we will use. And so here too, we have access to all the icons that come with it freely. So we'll make use of these icons too very soon. And so what I want to do is just leave this page for now and then open the API in a separate tab. But I think that will not work. So my API keys are where your username is, and then just choose my API keys. I think it should bring it to the page I want it to be. Okay, so this is the first API I created for the demo, and I encourage you not to use it because chances are that I may deactivate it after this video. So what you want to do is to give it a name, like I gave the weather app, and then click on generate. It will generate something like this for you. So we can copy it and use it in our code. Okay, so let's come back and see how we go about this one here. We will first need a function to get the response from the API. So that one will lead us to import request, the request library in Python. We also want to import JSON because we're working with JSON. And then let's write a function here called get weather. So get underscore weather. This one is not a Django function, so the request will not be there, but we need a city to access the weather. And then now you can see that the base URL should be equal to, and then we come back to this place where there's the weather conditions, and just right click and then copy this link, paste it in here. Okay, no, it should be in the form of a string. Okay, and I think they actually even headed is it the API key or whatever? I don't need an app ID. So let me delete that part. And then I don't even need this one. So let's just delete the queue and everything. Okay. Just as simple as this. I don't think this is sample. This should be API. api.openweathermap.org/data/2.5/weather, and that should do. And we will also need our API key. So let's come back. Where is my API key? Here. So I can copy it and then come and paste it in here as a string. Also, I need to pass some parameters, so params. If you recall from the previous page, where it is, this is actually what we're supposed to copy. These parameters, the parameters is what we are declaring inside here. So, or let me just call it parameters. And we will make it in the form of a Python dictionary. The queue, remember the queue here. On the other page, there was the queue, which is used for the query. So we just make it the letter Q. If you make it any other thing, it may not work. So Q should be the city, and then API app ID, one called app ID, should be your API key. And then when we come to the documentation, you see that they say units. It's an optional argument, so a parameter. But if you leave it at default to give you the standard, I don't really know what the standard is. But I want the metric. If you want imperial, you can state it. I want the metric measurement. So I'll add this unit as an optional parameter here. Yes, this is the mode. If you want it as XML2, you can get it. You can, if you want it as HTML2, but the JSON is the default, so I want the default like that. So here I will say unit. Does it have an S? I think so. Is metric. I think they've even explained it. The unit. Let me come down. Yes, this is a detailed explanation of all the response that comes. So it's 6 something here. You see the unit default, the metric is Celsius. So the default is Kelvin, metric is Celsius, and then the imperial is Fahrenheit for the temperature. And for the wind speed, I think we're interested in that one also. The default is the meters per second. The metric is also meters per second, but I'll still make it metric. I've still even made it metric. Or if you're familiar with miles per hour, also you can use it that way. So that is the unit side I'm discussing. And now that we are done this way, all that we have to do is response. Now response should be equal to request dot get. What do we want to get? We want to get it from the base URL. And what are our parameters? Well, params go to parameters. And that is it. And we can check. So if response dot status code is 200, that means if it's successful or okay, then what we want to do is return, and then let's say response dot JSON. Okay, don't forget, open and close bracket. And else we want to return none. So return none. Okay. And I think now we can use this inside our home. Okay. We first have to get the city from the front end. So city should be equal to request dot get dot get, and we want to get city. And we can only get city because the name here is city. Okay. If it was a different name you gave it, you have to use that name in place of city. And then, initially, when the app loads fresh, there will be no city. So if you don't put a check there, it will throw an error. So if city, we can actually even say that if city is not none, or if city to do, then weather data should be equal to get, how did you call it? Get weather, then city. So this one will do, will make the request for us and bring us the JSON, and then we can work with this one. So if weather data is not none, actually let's call this one weather data results or something like that. Okay. So if it is not none, then this is what we want to do. Then now weather data. That's why I call the other one weather data result. Should be equal to JSON, this JSON that we use here, dot dumps. Okay. See, serialize object to a JSON formatted string. And then we can say weather data result. What do we want to dump? We want to dump the weather data result. You can also give it an indent of say for so that when I think we may try to print it and see what happens first. And then after we get this weather data, let's just try and print it. So print weather data. Okay. Yes, that is for now. So let's go. It will come here, but let's go inside our HTML here, reload, and then type in London. Hit enter, and then let's come back here. You see that it has returned it for us, and because of the JSON dump and the indent, we are actually able to see it indented correctly, like in JSON format. Okay, so it doesn't look so different from what is on their page. I think that one will be easier to read and refer to. So we are interested in only some of them. The weather itself, of course, so this one, so we have to access it from the, it looks like it like a Python dictionary of dictionaries of other data types or data sets. So this is the mother dictionary if you look at it that way. And then there's another dictionary there, so use another key. And then inside that one, there's a list. I'm speaking in terms of Python, not JSON or something like that. And then there's another dictionary where the main is found and all that. So I'm trying to keep this thing beginner friendly. In fact, this tutorial is a beginner's project. I am keeping it that way. So I will not make any complex assessing of the data inside the front end. I will show how like we just extract it in Python and pass everything from here to the front end and just use it there. So the weather data or the weather itself, let's just say extracting details. So extracting details. So the weather itself should be equal to weather data result. And inside there, you have to access the weather. And then after the weather, you also have to access the 0th element. Remember, it was a list. And then inside the list was the dictionary with the weather had the key of main, so we just type in main. This one will give us just the weather. And then we also need the weather description. Okay, this shouldn't be so different from this. The only difference I think will be here that will say description. Okay. And then the next thing we need is the city. So the city, I think we can just say, so, okay, let's just make it weather data results. And then that one is just the name. Can access it that way. So if you come here, if you come down, you see that the city is just name. It's not inside any other thing. This weather data like this, we just needed it to print it to the terminal. So I think we can get rid of it. Okay. After city, we need the country, which should be weather data. And then I think it's also, that one is inside the sys dictionary, you say so. And then the key is country. Then we need a wind speed, which is weather data. And then wind. After wind speed, we need pressure, weather data inside the main, and then pressure. Okay, the next one, I think we need two more. Humidity and temperature, they are all inside that one. So humidity and temperature. Okay. And then now we can pass this all to the front end. So let me just copy this here. We need it. Okay, now there's an if condition here, so let's catch the else in the case where that data is none. So that one we can say else maybe return maybe else this way. So this is it, and now I have to pass all this data to the front end. I will not extend this by typing it out one by one. Let me copy it from the previous build and then go through it. Okay, so this is all of them. For now, we'll add one more. So the weather, I'm rendering it as weather description as the weather description, each of them as the name that is here. We're now inside the index.html, starting from the top. No, we don't need to start from the top. Where we see the 24 degrees Celsius, this is the place where we put the weather. So weather, but don't bring the space. And then this, as you have guessed, should be city and then country. Just bring space here, and then here this should be temperature. The weather is actually down there, and this is the weather. Weather underscore description. This is temperature wind speed. And then humidity. Okay. So if we did everything right, then a refresh should, let me see a hot reload. It says key error, temperature. I don't think they call it temperature in the API. Let me see. It's called temp. So where is it? So this will be TMP. Sorry about that. Once again, and try a hot reload, and then it comes. Now let's see Tokyo. And then we have it from Tokyo. Instead, I have it from Tokyo, Japan. But we want this. If you look at the API, let me come back. This place I took you to, the weather conditions, openweathermap.org/weather conditions. You see that each of the icons have a code here. They have a code. So we can use the code of the icon to display the weather at the time. So instead of just displaying this static image, it can be dynamic based on what the weather is at the time. I don't know whether I explained myself well. So let's copy this URL. Say for code 500, that is light rain, or 10D. This is the URL. So we can modify this URL based on what the API brings us. So when we printed, it is that icon. This is the icon ID. So for this class is 04N. That is what we leverage on to do our own. Okay. So inside here at the top, after city, we just declare icon underscore URL. set it to be an F string because you are coming to plug in some things also. So or maybe initially it will not be an F string. Okay, so that if the person has not loaded, initially when they load the website, you have not typed in city yet. So this default one that we copied from the website should be there until the person changes it. So, and then after this, whether it's not none, you can say icon URL again should be equal to, or let's get the icon data first. Let's just call it icon or icon ID should be equal to weather data result, and then in here we access it from weather, and then the name is, I think it's called icon, but it should be inside the 0 and then icon. Yes, this one will give us the icon ID, and then we can now plug it into an F string. So an F string, and then here we will place the 10D icon ID, not URL, icon ID. So this one will give us the URL as a string. Now let's pass it here also. So icon underscore URL should be icon URL. Okay. And this place where there's a place where that one is being rendered, the weather under the weather statistics icon, let's just delete the static one in here. And then we can say icon underscore URL. Let's save it, come back, refresh, and now you see that the clouds are in. Let's check Freetown. Okay, and look like all the ones that I'm searching for are clouds. Let me see Washington. Oh, that's place. Okay. California. If I got it right. No, I don't think so. Should be California. Like this. And that place too is clouds. Okay. I don't know, but it looks like almost every place is cloudy. But that is it. The app is functional, and so that is how we build this with the app. By the way, this place is also working if you just type in a name, maybe Lome is Togo capital. That one too is few clouds, but it's there. If I type in, let's say Accra, also Ghana's capital. If I click this search, it also works, so you can see that it's in there. But for some reason, almost every town in the city that is in my mind is cloudy. I don't know. Probably because I'm also recording this thing not during the day. But there should be some people at the other side of the world that have daylight, and I don't know why. Tokyo like this. That one too is clouds. Okay, so that's how we build this app with Django. If you like the video, consider giving it a thumbs up. It gives me motivation to create amazing content. And if you have any concerns or issues, you can put it down in the description below and I will attend to it. Consider subscribing also if you are new. Thank you very much for your time. I'll see you another time with another video. Bye for now.